Hey, everybody. Welcome back again to Austin Sports Weekend with the man Austin himself and special guest star, Mr. Erik Ainge himself.
Bigger star than I.
Oh, I don't know about that. This is your show. I'm just hanging out.
I was hanging out. It is time to talk some sports. We are officially done with the college basketball season. Boo. I really do like college basketball. It's the round of 64 is just one of my favorite things.
You don't have to wait till the weekend to watch games. There's games every night.
That first week where there's like 30 games is just spectacular. But before we get started again, thanks again for SevereTV.com for setting us up here. Thanks again for Autographs Plus sponsoring us. But let's get into the national championship game. It started out with the first half was actually pretty good, wasn't it?
Was it six-point game at halftime, I believe?
I think it was a 6-point game.
Until a certain Husky breed decided to flex their muscles in the second half.
Yeah, they actually played a really smart game, I thought. They let Zach Edey be Zach Edey. He's going to score 20, 30, 40. He's going to score
37 points.
The rest of the team got 23.
Well, you know what happened when Tennessee played Purdue? They said, hey, Dalton Connect, he's going to get his.
That's exactly what they did.
No one else is going to beat us, and UConn did the same thing that Purdue did to us.
Yeah, tell me if these points sound familiar. Start forward got 4 points. Starting guard got 12. Another guard got 0, and another guard got 5. So they had 39 points between two people.
37 for Zach Edey.
37 for Zach Edey,
Wow.
yeah. So 49, and Zach Edey got 37, and the rest of the team got nothing. So Hurley outcoached.
He
outcoached
absolutely
them.
did.
Yeah. Now Zach Edey did his thing. You know, he got a little off in the second half, but he did his thing. He got 37 points.
There was a portion in the middle of the second half when the best players in the heat of the moment, in the heat of the grind, have to perform at the highest level. Mm-hmm. Especially if they feel like they're outmatched in terms of like team overall that they're playing.
Yeah.
And in a middle portion of the second half, he only had like 3 points.
Yeah, he did go on a drought there.
And
He went on a
UConn
bit of a
took
drought.
advantage of it, got up by 10, and that was pretty much it.
I mean, UConn did something no one's ever done before. I mean, they won every game by double digits. I think their average margin of victory
That level
was
of dominance,
23.
that is just
Yeah.
dominance.
They had they averaged a 29-point win up until the Final Four. They won it by 25, won the last one by 15.
Yeah, I mean, all the walk-ons for UConn played in every game
Ain't that nuts?
during the NCAA tournament on their
That
way
is
to a back-to-back
nuts.
championship. First time since, 06, 07 Florida.
That is nuts. Now,
I'm kind of glad, in a way, as a Tennessee fan, that that's not the only team I have to look back on now.
Yeah, I agree.
yeah. UConn starters had 5 points, 11, 15, 20, and 11. So they had 4 of their 5 starters were in double figures.
That's what they do. I mean, they're just – and you know what? Hurley, everyone's talking about him, we've been running college basketball or
You get
know
that,
what?
he's won 2 natties in a row. I
That's
mean,
his
His players
that's
love him. The fans do because he talks trash. He does the same dumb thing,
Yeah.
all the guys do on the sideline. He has fun and they win.
He has fun, yeah. There's something in the water up in UConn. I don't know what it is, but they can play they can't play football for crap, but
They sure can play.
They sure
hoops.
can play hoop, women's and men's. They can definitely play some hoops up there. I actually saw today that opening up. This is the way too early, but UConn and Duke are actually the top 2 favored for next year.
Shocker.
Shocker.
Yeah, that is. Yeah,
Shocker.
2 blue blood programs. Yeah, my mind is blown
Yeah,
at the revelation of that fact.
yeah. UConn. When's the last time somebody won 3 in a row? Is it?
I don't think
I
it's.
haven't looked it up, but if it is, it's
It's got to be.
I think it was
way
like
before
ever
I was
since
born.
Wooden's UCLA Bruins back in
That
the
probably
heyday.
would be UCLA.
I'll bet that's right. Yeah, I mean, like
Yeah.
in football, when Georgia was trying to make a run this last year, the only time anyone's won 3 football championships
Was Minnesota
Do you know what decade?
in the middle of the 40s or 50s?
30s.
Oh, the
What
30s.
the-
The
man.
middle of it's been that low. It was before World War II that someone won 3 in a row. No one did because obviously.
So I'm going to go right now, and I'm going to go put $100 on UConn losing.
No, I don't. Yeah, at basketball, I don't know, but yeah.
Well, it's probably been. I mean, it's probably been. Like I said, it's probably been UCLA back in the day since there's been that kind of. There's too much parity right now, and if you have any injuries,
There
then
goes your championship hopes if any injuries hit.
Yeah.
The injuries is a harsh mistress.
Yeah, like if Edie would have got injured in their
gosh.
in their tournament round, how far would have Purdue went?
Probably not as not,
Purdue without Edie wouldn't. I mean,
They
they
wouldn't make
might
it
have
out.
been a tournament team, maybe. But he's next level good.
Yeah, he is. When you're 7'5", you don't have to have a lot of footwork. You just got to have a good hook.
Just throw your booty in there. Double L's what they teach in basketball. But when
set
he
up a
puts his
tent,
arms,
put up a campfire.
when he puts his arms up,
He's a
he
curtain.
covers the whole lane.
He is. Well,
sets up a tent, puts up.
he's
a
got a tent in
campfire,
there now.
gets it.
Yeah, did you guys see all the REI and
Oh, yeah.
NIL deals coming his way?
Yeah, I guarantee you that there's a camping world or something's going to be. Because he did camp out in the paint there quite a bit there, didn't he? But more. Let's go ahead and jump on into some college breaking news. The biggest thing that's happened. Well, let's tell you what. Let's go ahead and talk about the women first. We need to cover the women's national championship. It actually got a better Nielsen rating than the men's did. The men's got like 14.8 million, and the women's got like 18.8 million because they had one superstar.
Yeah.
One superstar in that. So again, she didn't win the national championship, but
You know, they all talk about her all the time, though. But I think the more impressive thing is South Carolina going undefeated
yeah, how many?
all year long. Well, I guess Gino at UConn's probably done that a couple times.
And Pat, I think Pat did it.
But, I mean, it's rare. I don't know that it's ever happened in men. I think it's happened a couple times in women's basketball. But
It hadn't happened in the men's side for like 40 or some 50 years.
You know,
but
Kentucky was undefeated in that one year. Until Wisconsin got them,
Anthony Davis year, the like 2012 or 14 or something
it's
like that.
yeah.
and then
That's-
Wisconsin took them out there in the Final Four.
That's right.
Yeah, but that was the closest we'd come. But it still didn't happen. It's like in the NFL, it's still 18-1.
I mean, think
you
about
were
that.
18-0, but you finished
to
18-1.
to play all the game, never have an off night. You know, never have anyone get injured enough to lose. I mean, that's impressive.
That is impressive, yeah. And again, there was no superstar on that team. It sort of reminds you a lot of UConn. UConn, I mean, who's the superstar on UConn?
No, not really anybody.
I mean, they got a bunch of
note.
good players.
They
just
have a
play
lot of
exceptional.
NBA role player type guys. You know, guys that could have a cup of coffee in the NBA. But
They
there's
just have
no
good-
first top 10.
There's no
lottery
top
picks
10,
and-
no.
They just
they're-
got good chemistry.
It was good chemistry, good coaching, and that's sort of what South Carolina did. Good chemistry, good coaching. Everybody played as a team.
Well,
and
South Carolina girls should have had one loss if they would have just guarded
The in
even
Anybody.
guarded
Just
anybody,
throw anybody.
in the SEC championship game.
And we can go ahead and hit that because Tennessee changed head coaches, and I think that play probably cost her
Probably
being a coach next year. I still don't think she would have made it through next year. I think the writing was sort of on the wall.
Yeah.
But I think she would have probably got next year as a chance if she had beat South Carolina. If she would have beat South Carolina and then maybe even won the SEC championship, then she would have had that banner
It'd
up.
be hard to fire
It'd be hard to
someone
fire
the
somebody
year
that-
after winning a tournament championship. That'd be
Yeah,
very tough.
it would have been. But now we got
Kim Caldwell is
Mm-hmm.
coming aboard. The SS Kim Caldwell is coming in.
I'm actually really excited about her. I knew nothing about her, because I'm not a Marshall women's basketball fan. So
Yeah, that's not on the bingo card.
that's not on my bingo card. So I didn't really know a whole lot about her. But looking at her, she's really an exciting coach. She
It kind of
was
fits
number
the bill
4
of
in
Danny
the
White's coaching hires over the years.
in her
The
first
up-and-coming-
year in Division I. She had the number 4 offense in the country. I mean, that's hard to just come right out the bat with players you don't know and be able to do that. She's got a really high flying, high octane team on the defense
Well,
too.
That's exciting then, you know.
Yeah, on the defensive side too. There were they averaged 20-something turnovers or something. I mean, they really get out of offensive and defensive. Again, you don't know anything about her. She's not the splash hire. She's not going out and getting
Well, on the
USC's
positive side
coach
of that,
or
neither was Vitello and neither was Heupel, but look how they worked out.
Yeah.
So really, it's not really about the biggest body slam smash hit that you get. You're not gonna get. Not every coach you're gonna get is the next Star Wars.
no.
Not every coach you get is the next Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna have that little balance in there.
Yeah.
Of having that next.
And I do
genius
trust Danny
mind.
White. Danny White has a good eye for coaching. For some reason, he just has a good eye for coaching. You know, when he was at Buffalo, he hired Hurley.
Yeah.
And then he hired Nate Oates.
And then he hired Nate Oates and gave him his.
I think coaching hires are, if it was a science, then no one would ever get it wrong.
No.
You know, so
No.
you find someone you think that can do the best job.
It's a
and
good
they're
eye and a gut feeling.
exciting, entertaining, and
Yeah.
can they recruit and can they get the most out of the people on the squad in any sport? I mean,
I
that's,
definitely think she's going to be exciting. She's got an exciting brand of basketball. It honestly sort of reminds me of Heupel in football. She's got a fast-paced, high-flying offense.
get after it.
Get after it. You know, I think they averaged 83, 84 points a game last year with Marshall. Her first year there, she got the Rookie Coach of the Year award.
Got the herd to the NCAA tournament.
Their first tournament games in 40-something years or something like that it was. So I'm excited to see her. The only thing that might get her is the bright lights in the big city. You
And
know,
the high expectations.
coming
are
from
also
a
factor.
Division II small school where she went to school and coached there, and then going into Marshall, and then all of a sudden you're at Tennessee,
The University of Tennessee,
which
the greatest school in the world.
yes, and believe it or not, women's basketball is our flagship for the past 30 years.
Several decades, really.
Yeah.
Well, Pat Summitt reached it, put the bar way up here. I can't even touch the ceiling, but it's
if
way
nothing-
up
I'll
there.
take it 3
Yeah.
inches. I got longer
Yeah.
arms. We'll take it all the way up there.
If nobody else won, Pat did. And you know that's just the way it was, and people still have that in the back of their mind that our women's basketball should win.
Well, and not to switch gears, but to switch gears, you talk about coaching hires and whether they're a guarantee. You would think John Calipari
Oh mercy,
going to Arkansas would be a
That-
guarantee. It's not a guarantee.
that blew me out of the water.
I did not see that coming.
I went to bed at night and had a text from one of our friends that night, late at night, and it said Calipari to Arkansas, and I was like, you're full of crap.
Yeah,
I didn't
he-
even pay
he
attention
wouldn't
to
do that.
I didn't even pay attention to that. I thought that was like an April Fool's joke or
And
something.
then I saw the ESPN said it was official, and I said, "Oh goodness!"
Goodness gracious.
So we got the late text. I got woke up in bed by my wife Susan.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's not real. And she said, it's ESPN.com. They wouldn't lie.
Wake up.
Yeah, I was
Yes,
like,
wake up.
holy cow. But you know, okay. So then here's the conversation. What does Kentucky do? What's the splash name to bring to Kentucky?
Well, I can tell you, they wanted Hurley from Connecticut. He's already said no.
Nate Oates?
They wanted Nate Oates. He's already said no. They've looked at a couple more people. The Baylor head coach is probably what's going to
Scott Drew?
Scott Drew's what
The
I've
other
heard.
one I've heard is Billy Donovan out
Yeah.
of the Chicago Bulls.
They want Billy Donovan. Billy Donovan is neck deep into the Bulls right now, and the Bulls are on the verge of making the playoffs. So if they make the playoffs, then he's in the long run through the playoffs, and Kentucky can't even talk to him until after that's over. So I almost think that takes Donovan out, because you can't wait.
But why-
You
Billy
can't wait.
Donovan
You
won-
can't wait 2 more months and then miss everybody else.
He won championships at Florida and then decided, why would I do? And okay, here's the other thing. Why would you leave professional sports right now to enter college athletics with the transfer portal and NIL? And it's not just about getting a player for a year, in basketball. If you're getting really good ones, you get them for a year or two.
To be fair, I think that problem was caused by the NCAA's lack of leadership.
Yeah, for the past 10 or 15
I
years.
think
Why would
you're
you
right.
do that?
I think you're right, but I mean, you see it happen right now, college, especially football, where you need them for 3, 4, 5 years, and you have to re-recruit your roster every year, and there's always tampering and another deal, and the grass is always greener. These coaches are leaving. Our running backs coach just last year went, you know what?
Think I've had enough.
I think I'm going to go to the NFL.
Plus, it's Kentucky. Would you
Yeah,
want to
if
go
you-
to that pressure?
If you're not in the Elite Eight, it
They'll-
helps
they'll
that
probably-
Calipari has lost to. Hold on, guys.
No, yeah.
Golke just hit another 3 for Oakland.
Yeah.
But it helps that they're a 2 seed losing to St. Peter's. They're a 3 seed losing to Oakland. He's kind of taking the bar. And
I did hear that Golke started his accounting firm now, and he could probably handle the deal for him coming to
yeah,
Kentucky.
seriously. I made that joke when he did it. How many, and I know we all would in this room,
Yeah.
if Golke would have made a GoFundMe the morning after beating Kentucky.
I'd have sent him $20.
I just sent him $20. He could have said, this isn't for charity. This is literally for me for beating the Wildcats.
Yeah.
and he would have made a couple $100,000
I need
from
a
Tennessee
I
fans.
need a nest egg for my future. I sent him 20 bucks.
He was an Uber driver while playing basketball at Oakland.
But,
Hilarious.
Calipari went through what, his last 6 seasons and had one tournament win.
1-4 in his last 5 tournament games at a school like Kentucky. When
Yeah,
you
I mean,
look
it's
at
time
it,
to go.
it's just not acceptable for their standards.
Now, he had 7/10 of the starting NBA All-Star team, but that doesn't bring you any titles to Kentucky. I mean, if you're a Kentucky fan, if I was a Kentucky fan,
The X's and O's
That
part
wouldn't-
is
that
what it
wouldn't be
comes
good
down
enough for
to.
me.
Sure, you can have the talent, and that's great and all. You'd really like to have the talent come in to really to replenish your program year after year after year after year of
Mm-hmm.
having great talent. But it also comes down to the X's and O's part of things.
the one and done just doesn't work.
Well, when they lost to Oakland, he did his press conference afterwards and the next day. And he brought up the fact, he went back to the same thing he said before the Oakland game, which is, are taking care of these players and their families. His loyalty is to the players, their NBA careers, their family, their future, their money. That's where his loyalty goes to. And if I'm Mitch Barnhart in Kentucky or a Kentucky fan, I'm going, hey, that's great that these guys are all worth $500 million. But we care about winning basketball games in college. But Kentucky fans, you can't complain. You know why? Because you flex on your NBA talent more than anything.
Yep.
So what's the most important to you? Having guys win in college or having them be great pros? The great pros is an add-on.
It is. It's a bonus.
If Dalton Connect goes to the NBA, has a cup of coffee, and decides to go be a dentist or whatever he's going to do someday,
Or go to the Euro League.
or go play, yeah, sure, that's fine. We'll root for him.
Yeah.
Like Josh Dobbs right here, fantastic guy, going to the
Love him to death.
has a great spurt with the Vikings for a good bit.
It's awesome.
It's exciting.
But you know why we love him?
Because he threw the Hail Mary against Georgia.
Because of the
baby.
Dobbs nail boot. Yeah, exactly.
The Dobbs nail
The
boot's why we love
nail
him.
boot.
Yeah.
We love
I'd
him
like to go
because
back to that
because
day.
he brought excitement back to Tennessee, and
I would
He
really
gave
like
it-
to
he
go
said
back
we
to
won
that
with
day.
him. We
Gave us
beat
all.
Florida.
Yeah, 38
I was
unanswered.
sitting
Never
there with
forget
it,
it.
120
Never forget
degrees.
it.
So yeah, it's like you said, it's cool, and all having all of the NBA players, making $20 million a year. But if you don't bring a ring back to Kentucky,
Or it's cool if you have all the NBA guys, if you're still going to the Elite Eight, right? And then
Yeah.
you can say,
Oh, yeah.
hey, they're one and dones. I'm getting them. This is what we do.
if you were in the
You're
Elite
lo-
Eight and there was 5 NBA players sitting behind the bench,
Come on, they're a
hallelujah.
2 seed losing to St. Peter's and a 3 seed losing to Oakland. You can't spin that. That's just time to call the Hogs and go to
the third
Arkansas.
worst loss in the history of the tourney was Kentucky as a 2 seed. The highest 2 seed losing to the lowest 15 seed.
And he had Oscar Sheboy, the rebound,
The National Player of the Year.
the rebound gobbler.
Yeah,
He
and
was like
just lost-
Cookie
yeah.
Monster when it came to the rebounds. And he could only win 1 tournament game with that.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. That just drives me crazy. That's
Now, he may get to Arkansas and it may just explode for 2 or 3 years. There'll be excitement, going to be a lot of money flying around,
Oh, yeah.
going to be fresh blood. He may have some older players that are actually pretty good because Arkansas was picked to have a good team this year. They underperformed, but they were picked to have a good team, so they might have some older talent that may stick around.
He'll bring a player or two
And
with
bring
him.
a
He'll
player
get a
or two in.
player or two out of the portal.
That's what I'm saying. They
Finding
may have
talent's
an-
never going to be his issue.
Oh, no.
It's
I still say he is the best recruiter in the game.
in any sport. probably.
Yeah.
Saban's out, so now
But
it's Calipari in basketball.
Once the recruiting is over, he can't coach. I mean, he
And
can't
he's got the
coach.
same assistants forever. Like maybe when he goes to Arkansas, don't bring everybody with you. Like I know Rex Chapman was a great 3-point shooter.
Yeah.
You don't need him to coach at Arkansas.
No.
Get some blue collar guys that get you that get him to play, defense, rebound.
a couple of those elements they lacked this year in
Yeah.
a way.
Defense was terrible. They had the worst interior defense I've seen in
But
years.
see, Kentucky, this is the reason that this is a fail for them is because he didn't have 4 starters that were freshmen. He had Dillingham, he had Reeves, he had old
And
veteran
most of the
players.
season, he had Dillingham off of the bench.
I still
Yeah.
don't understand why
But
he
he has,
down
and then he
bench.
did have the Shepherds, and he had he has some of the 5-star talent NBA
Yeah.
young guys, but he also had a mix of veteran players that were really good veteran players, and he still couldn't get it done. So
he
all
had-
the Hogs.
He needs to get a good offensive coordinator and a good defensive coordinator to put it in football terms, and then he just needs to stand back and let them coach
do
the
the
game.
thing where you stand back
Yeah.
and slap some fives and
I mean, not
push your
everybody-
push your stroller while
Not
you're
everybody's
going
going to have their own. Not everybody's going to have their own Peyton Manning, for example.
No,
where he can operate his own offense on a whim, on a little spin.
They've got to get some good coaching in there to help him. He's going to get good players, but
He needs somebody to help him coach.
I
That's just the
agree
way
on
it
that
is.
one. I
Yeah.
agree.
Well, Muscle Man said this all started when Muscle Man left Arkansas and went to USC. And then Louisville did pick up their coach. We might have mentioned that last week. They took
He did mention that he wanted to eliminate anything blue out of his wardrobe.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Kind of, I think that was. I like that, but
nice.
that was the tiny little detail that I did like. As soon as he went to
Yeah.
Louisville, I think James Madison's head coach.
Yeah. But I really do think probably what the front runner right now is probably Baylor's head coach, maybe.
And it'd be a good time for him to start the clock over.
Felix.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
go. Why not go to Kentucky? I mean, if you're a lifelong basketball coach, the Kentucky job, it's a true blue blood. It's
It's
one
a
of
blue
the,
blood team.
It is. You're in Rupp Arena. You got everything
I've been
there. It's
inside there. It is. I'm going to give them one thing. That is a cathedral.
That is a nice. Yeah.
Oh, did you know? I didn't pay attention, but I think Tennessee and Kentucky have the biggest basketball.
In the United
Stadiums.
States.
But third in the SEC is Arkansas.
yeah, in Arkansas.
They've got a good size.
It's supposed to be. I mean, it is in years past. I mean, it is a tough place
What
to
was
play.
it back in the 90s? Arkansas
Back in the
was
90s,
really
they were a
good.
power.
They were a power back. They were
It's
power
a great,
back in
it's
the
a
90s.
great basketball school, and John Calipari is going to go there, and he's probably going to lose in the
Now-
first round of the NCAA tournament.
I had a buddy of mine who's Barry. It was actually Barry said he may go to Arkansas and do some splash because what other colleges out there?
Well, Butch is at Arkansas State. You know, he requires a lot of attention
Oh
down
yeah,
there.
Butch gets but
The
they're
Red Wolves.
Tyson is out there, which we mentioned. Walmart is centered out in Arkansas, and the only big major college in the entire state is Arkansas.
And Arkansas is about to be finding a new football coach, so Calipari will be king on campus.
He
and
will be king. He
all
will
the
be
Tyson
king of the
chicken
state.
and Walmart NIL deals will bring more players.
Just
in.
imagine the boost in revenue from those chicken nuggets, though.
Yeah.
Just imagine the boost.
Yeah, is that going to be if they hit 5 threes in a game, you get a Tyson's chicken nugget coupon?
$5 off a bag of Tyson chicken.
chicken nuggets.
You're ridiculous.
But that, you know it's going to happen. I guarantee you it's going to happen. What else we got going on in the sports world?
I'll give you one. I mean, you talk about players leaving, and we don't necessarily know why, but Tobe Awaka
Yeah, leaving the Tennessee.
entered the transfer portal.
He was one of my favorite players on. Honestly, he was probably top 3 maybe for me. Top 4 maybe.
How he played, man. He played the game. Like
He was a really good player. I
I
like
was
the way
excited.
he played.
I was excited about him in the future.
I was
That's
too.
a tough one.
I was excited about him too. I really love Ziegler, of course. Mashek. I would watch.
Meshack and Awaka are like the same guy to me, just different positions.
I would watch Tennessee play a game just to watch Mashek. Just put me a camera on Mashek, and I'll watch a Tennessee game.
Playing
I
defense,
love the way he
hustling.
plays. He is 100%. I love it. And Awaka seemed like he was coming in the same direction.
He started
didn't have the
scoring
playing
more
time.
at the end of the year.
Mhm. He was getting more playing time.
But you know what? Tobe Awaka, if Jonas Adu, Jonas Adu's coming back, we do play a lot of guards. You know, we're going to go to the portal and get more guards. We're going to go get guys. We're kind of that 1-4 team. If you're Tobe Awaka, you're looking at it going, I'm probably not beating out Jonas Adu for the starting job or starting minutes there. We don't play a ton of 2 big sets. And he's a good enough player to start at 10 SEC schools and 90% of the major college basketball programs as a 6'8" forward who can guard the post and is getting better. He'll start wherever he goes.
He will, yeah.
You know, so that's a tough one.
See,
Yeah,
there's. Go ahead, Austin.
I know. I was just mixed up a little bit. I had a thought, but it just left my mind.
Well, I just, with I think part of it is Tennessee fans, Tennessee people. We like, that slap in the sign, I will give my all for Tennessee today. Even if you're not the best scorer, even if you're not the best this or that, if you hustle and you're blue collar, hard, tough, we love you.
Oh, yeah.
In any sport, we love you. And that's why Ziegler's a fan favorite, defensive player of the year. You know, diving all over the floor. He's a pest. That's why you love
That's
Meshack.
why I love Meshack too. He's a player.
That's why I love Awaka.
He didn't score 20 points a game, but every time he got on the floor, he was
And
hustling.
like Santi, 2 years first team All SEC, as a one of the best 3-point shooters statistically in the history of the Southeastern Conference. In comes Dalton, and Santi goes, you know what? All right, and I wish he would have shot more. I wish he would have played better offensively.
Yeah, he did play a little hesitant.
But he took the role of, all right, I'm now a defender. I mean, Rick Barnes was subbing him out into game situations. He would sub him out on offense and put him back. You're talking about a two-time first-team all-conference player because
scorer.
of his offense.
Yeah, scorer.
And he takes a different role, that blue-collar role of, I guess I'm just playing defense now, and he'll be remembered for that.
Yeah, beautiful. And the only thing I can think of is maybe there's I was trying to look for his name and I can't remember it, but there's a player. Is it Hubbard? I can't remember his name, but there's a big center out there that
Everyone's
he's down to picking between UT and Mississippi State, I think it was.
And if not him, there'll be another 6'10", 7-foot guy. Because I think Barnes saw we need a Tobe Awaka or a Tobe Light that's 6'10", 6'11".
Yeah.
Not Jonas Adu. I like Jonas, whatever, but Jonas, if you go in there and
He's he's a finesse.
you look at a guy. I mean, let's just call it what he got beat mentally playing against guys his size that had a little bit of beef
or bigger.
It owned him, and he played bad. He dropped the ball. He started turning it over. It just got him mentally.
The thing that saved him 90% of the time was he had a pretty good mid-range shot. So he would drop back into that 8 to 10.
And he finished,
But
12-foot range.
there's the caveat behind that is that if those
you don't
shots
make the
don't
shot,
hit.
and they didn't the last 2 games.
No, he was shooting them flat. It looked like he had the yips. You ever seen
Yeah.
Charles Barkley swing a golf club? Brings it back and then
that's
stops
ugly. Yeah.
and then swings it. That's what Jonas looked like shooting the ball at the end of the year.
Yeah. So
His shots weren't falling, so he's not big enough, not strong enough to be the inside presence that we
Get some more beef.
up there. Yeah. Staying on Tennessee, we got the orange-white game this weekend. Yay! I'm excited for the Nico era.
Era.
And
area too. It's
everything
area,
all
area.
area.
Everything I'm hearing about Nico is he's been operating smooth and efficient, being the quarterback, leading the team.
I heard it was been really smooth too.
Really smooth. Like, it's, and we don't need Nico to throw 10 touchdowns a game. We need him to be the quarterback, run the RPO the right way, run the football, be willing to run the football, take what the defense gives you. Those special plays where, like the bowl game, he was running, he pump fakes, jukes, dives, and
Steps right.
that'll happen. He's a playmaker. Like, those things will happen.
Yeah.
If he's good on the, in football, 60% of the plays, they happen the way you draw them on the dry erase board. 40% of them, something happens. A guard slips. This happens.
A
They call
receiver
their
slips. Somebody
Somebody runs a wrong route.
We saw, Joe last year in the 60% when everything worked the way it was supposed to. Joe was pretty dang good.
Yeah.
But in those, you got to figure it out, make a play, be a playmaker mode. Improvisation, that kind of stuff. He wasn't great at that. Nico excels in that 40%.
He does,
So
yeah.
we got to get him managing the rest, and then
In
you
that-
got a lightning rod
in
right
that
there.
game you were referring to against Iowa's defense. Iowa's defense was ranked amongst the best in the nation.
They were 5th in the nation, I think.
Super solid,
Yeah.
really fundamentally
Albeit they were
sound.
paired with a absolutely rancid offense, but that's beyond the point. This is about that defense that Nico faced. But
He did great.
He did great against the defense.
I'm excited. I think we all should be excited about that.
yeah.
Playmakers, more speed at DB, more speed at receiver. Matthews, 5-star coming in. Brazil out of Tulane. Brew hopefully getting back healthy. Thornton, started playing good once they put him outside. Well, that's where he is right now. He's looking good. You still, Squirrel's like the forgotten player out there, and he was our best receiver last year.
Against Squirrel, if he isn't the focus point to where he can get out there,
He'll eat
he's
you up.
going to do something. He's
He'll
going
eat
to eat
you
you
up.
up. He'll slip out there, and he's fast enough to get behind you,
That's
and it's going to be over. And I like the way that our running back team seems to be coming together too. They're being a little more vocal, a little more of a leadership type. How's the defense? What have you heard on the defense?
Defensively, defensive line, really athletic and really deep. Obviously, you got Josephs, and you have some really talented guys coming off the edge. Pierce, I think, is an elite first-team all-conference.
I've heard about
potential draft pick this year type guy.
I've heard about the secondary though. That's what I've really wanted to hear
So
about.
secondary is much more athletic. So last year, like the last couple years, Willie Martinez would say they know what to do, but You know, we had C plus to B minus caliber athletes.
Talent, yeah.
You know, call it,
Athleticism.
but you know, speed, length, like just pure athletic wise, and we've upgraded at that. So as long as they get on the same page, I mean, they don't need to be lockdown corners. What they need to be is sure tacklers. You know, Spencer Rattler ran a 4.940 at the NFL Combine. Well, we couldn't tackle him.
We couldn't tackle him. No.
You know, how many missed those plays, those missed
Yeah.
tackles? It was like, I feel like our DBs last year, when you'd grade them, you'd go, you know, they graded out at a 84%. That's actually pretty good. But that 16% where they messed up was catastrophic.
Yeah.
Diving and missing tackles, busting, you know, so you're like,
Mm-hmm.
if they grade out at 86%, but that 14% doesn't cost you 21 points.
21 points, yeah.
4 penalties, just turn your head around, knock the ball down.
Yeah, that's
keep
sort of
them in
a-
front, make the tackle.
That's almost like a whole revamp. We lost
Every one of 'em.
75% of our whole backfield to the portal, or
Portal graduation, something. Yeah, Burrell. I mean, all those guys
was
are gone.
really
Hatton.
good, and he's going to be in the NFL next year.
The portal is a whole can of worms. I don't know if I like to dip my hand into. It's like trying to touch mud
I did
with like
just talking about the portal. I did hear today that they're in discussions to change the times on it. I know it was like for basketball, the transfer portal opened up while the tourney was still going.
Which isn't cool. Or
What the-
so Texas last year. Texas is about to play in the college football playoff, right? Quinn Ewers, Arch Manning's the third string quarterback. Their backup quarterback to Quinn Ewers, 4-star player, really good athlete, but because of the transfer portal window and how everyone's going to choose who their next quarterback is, they're getting ready to go into the college football playoff, and he's putting his name in the portal.
Yeah.
And you want to say, well, that's selfish, be on the team. But if you're looking, he's going, I'm not going to play behind Quinn next year. Arch
No.
is there. If I'm going to make a move,
You
I
gotta
need
do
to
it now.
Well, you got to put your resume out there and say, hey, if anybody wants me,
Yeah.
I am available. And if you wait until after, you know, by the time the national championship college football playoffs done, all those 10 schools he would want to transfer to, they've already picked who their quarterback's
Yeah.
going to be. So I guess
They-
I don't know. That's
yeah,
it's not.
they-
There's
they
flaws
need-
all over it.
They need to back it up to where after the season's over, then you can start talking. 'Cause it does take away from
Be a part of the team.
game. Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. You pretty much summed up everything I wanted to say about that portal in a summarization.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just there's
I'm
there's-
excited about the team though this year.
Really excited.
I'm really excited about the team. I'm excited. What is this Butcher? I mean, not Butch. I'm saying Butcher. You got Butch on my mind because
Tracy.
you said Arkansas State. This is Heupel's
fourth year.
fourth year.
Fourth year.
This is his team, his players, his system. So it's time to
Calling
see.
it right now.
I'm calling.
10-2, 11
Oh, man.
Nico, he's like got your 7th or 8th best odds for a Heisman already.
I did see somebody who's a Uber Tennessee fan say that this may be the best team we've had since your last season, since 2006. This may be the best team,
I mean,
talent-wise, we've had since 2006, 2007.
I think that there's a lot of NFL players on the team, future NFL players on the team, and I mean, you hate putting it all on the quarterback, but if Nico is special,
If he's okay,
We're 8-4.
We're 8-4. If he wins one or two, he shouldn't. We're 9-3. I mean, I think one way or the other, we'll get to 10 wins, even if it's just through the bowl. I think we got 10 wins.
I think you're looking at a double-digit win type year for Tennessee.
Yeah.
Somehow or another.
I think 10 wins, counting the bowl, is probably where we're at. And if we come out and look hot, we may.
That's where I'm sure the betting will be somewhere in that 8.5 regular. You know, of the 12
I think
games,
it's
it'll be
8.5.
8.5.
I think it's 8.5,
I would
yeah.
take the over.
You
I'd say
know-
9 or 10.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, he was experiencing all the heights of the Tennessee program in the past, from majors and to Fulmer when you were there, and
yeah.
you were the last good quarterback we had there for like a century.
And then Dobbs came along, and
Oh,
he was
Dobbs.
a stud.
I love Dobbs.
And then
Yeah.
Hooker came along. He was a stud. And we've had some guys that did fine in between that. Joe wasn't bad last year. He also wasn't special. You
Yeah.
know, you want the special. Nico is that guy. Whether it happens this year,
we would have took Joe any day before Heupel got here.
oh yeah, absolutely.
Any year, we would take what he did last year.
Yeah.
It's just now we can see a bigger future.
When he didn't throw the ball over a lot, he was
No.
pretty solid. I mean, even
They
in
could
some of
throw
our
80
losses,
yards flat-footed,
He
so.
played fine in some of the games, but like I guess that's the difference. Like you look at major college football, the difference in being an 8-4 team and a 10-2 team, 11-1 team, is that special play at quarterback. Even the Orange Bowl year, the 2022 Hendon Hooker year, how many of those games were close? I mean, you went
Oh, yeah.
11-2. You easily could have been 8-5
with 2 or 3 more plays.
on either side. You also
Yeah.
could have been, undefeated. Like it's just the margin of
Albeit the
victory
offense
there.
in that year was good enough to guide us to that record.
Yeah.
In a way, and I
Hey,
feel as
beating Saban on his last time in Knoxville.
Doesn't get better than that.
Doesn't get any better than that. No.
And what was
Can't
the
get any
score? 52-49. We'll never forget it.
Yeah, 52-49. Yeah.
yeah, I still have a poster of that 5 touchdown game where all the routes he ran.
Yeah.
And holding up the 5.
Holding up to 5. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm definitely excited about some college football coming up.
We finished up baseball. There's not a lot going on right now except for my Yankees
Let
are
me
number
tell you
1 and
something.
No big deal.
no
Just
big deal. But the
9-2.
Yankees
No
are
big
just
deal.
9-2 and the number 1 in
Soto
baseball
just
right
hit
now.
another home run.
I think he hit one. Yeah, just while we were talking.
But let me tell you, this definitely does beat the years where I was growing up. In the Derek Dooley years, the
That
Butch
is
Jones years,
that
and
is
all that.
a good thing. I grew up in the. I'm telling you how old I am. In the I was in high school in the 80s. And the 90s were good, and then the 2000s were good, and everybody that's been born this century hasn't seen Tennessee good except for women's basketball.
Yeah, and in baseball, hey, Tennessee athletics
Tennessee's
right
right
now. I
now.
mean, look at the men's sports. You got baseball rolling. They got LSU coming up. They got a lot of good games coming up. They're top 10,
They're top 5.
top 5.
Women's softball top 5.
Men's basketball, Elite 8. Football, I mean, really, really healthy, getting better. I mean, they're kind of going in the right direction.
Everything at Tennessee right now. It's a good time to be a Tennessee Vol. It's
That's
always
right.
it's always a good time to be a Tennessee Vol
said
fan.
But this
great.
is
It's
a
an
better
exciting.
period.
It's an exciting.
Tennessee
team.
Vol,
I said
it's
great. Yeah.
But this
All
is
right.
a better period of
This is
positive
this
play.
is an exciting time right now.
Yeah, that's what I was
And
trying to say. A positive, exciting play.
With everything that's going good, you can see a national title coming somewhere.
Oh, Tracy
Whether-
Lehman just called it.
Whether it's women's softball or men's baseball or basketball or football, there's one coming soon.
Hey, I love
You
that.
could ju-
I
you
know.
could- you could
I
just
know.
feel it.
I know we're almost done, so I don't want to get on the whole thing. But guys,
Yeah.
a 12-team now 14-team playoff gives us a chance to get in the postseason as that
Yes.
second or third SEC team. All you got to do is get there. And
Yeah.
look at NC State in basketball this year. All they had to do was get in the tournament. Boom,
Yeah.
Final Four. If you can get
It's
to the
all
postseason,
matchups too. If you get into the postseason, then you've got a positive matchup.
ball bounces your way a couple times. Something crazy happens.
Tip ball, fumble,
Eli
interception.
Manning, wild card team, New York Giants, undefeated New England Patriots.
9-7 going into the playoffs.
Super Bowl champions.
Yes.
All you got to do is get to the postseason. Anything can happen.
18-1.
You gotta love that underdog story, though.
You gotta love it. Yeah.
I mean, it's right out of Hollywood. I mean, you're going against like the Goliath Patriots, against, like you mentioned, and the
Yeah.
David Giants with the Eli Manning slingshot that always seems
Oh,
to
yeah.
hit Tom
Yeah.
Brady's
That's right.
yeah. All right, that's good. Got anything else out there? I think that's about it, as far as we can tell, ain't it? That's about our cap for the
I
week.
think that should be it.
All right, well, we'll be back next week. Next week we don't have basketball to talk about. There'll always be breaking news. We are going to have baseball. We got baseball going full bore, and we might actually get into a little bit NBA. NBA's getting now towards the end now.
My Celtics. Come on, guys.
They are.
Come on.
Tatum is good.
Just got to get past the Miami Heat.
Well,
Yeah.
you can pity me in one aspect. I'm a Hornet fan.
Yes.
And I've experienced a bunch of losing, and a cherry on top of more losing.
Well, hey, just root for the Celtics.
Yeah. Just root for the Celtics.
Just pick the Celtics for the playoffs.
Yeah. All right, well, that's it. Thanks again for watching us. Be sure and check next week. Thanks again to SevereTV.com for setting us up here. Thanks again for my buddy Erik Ainge coming and hanging out with us.
The quarterback intellectual, the genius of the playbook.
Hey, still have how many touchdowns?
Well, I don't know if you know that 7. It
Yeah.
was 7, but who's counting?
Yeah, and it ain't like I got a picture,
Nah,
of
who's
that
counting?
or anything. But yeah, thanks again for hanging out with us, and we'll see you
Next week.